Hey, people. So I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about a subject that I think more of us should be aware of. It's a pro audio term that more guitar players are aware of these days, and I think it's time for us bass players to catch up to this. So basically, as you've seen in the title and stuff, I'm talking about gain staging, and for a lot of you, a lot of you would ask two major questions: is like, what is gain staging, and why do I need to bother with it or even know about it? Basically, in the old days, life was simple. We'd had a passive bass, we'd plug it into an SVT. We had volume knob on our bass, and we had a gain knob on the amp. We'll turn it up. The more we turn up the gain on the amp, we'll get more compression and eventually overdrive. The more we push the back of the amp, we'll get pretty much the same. We'll get more harmonic content, and our notes would sustain better with. And as time progressed, we got more and more toys to work with, more and more tools. We started going to solid state amps to get better headroom. We started to use compressors, like the old DBX 160A, and so on. So we'd have racks with compressors and sometimes chorus, sometimes, and as time progressed, we got more and more toys. We were able to kind of sustain ourselves, fighting off the evil, synth bass threat to our job, unless we could actually play synth bass, which is actually cool. But okay, so with all the development and all those extra toys, we got more gain stages. And what are gain stages? A gain stage is every step of your signal that gets preamplified. It's basically from the moment your strings vibrate into the pickups till the moment they hit the back end of your amp, like the power section of your amp. You got different stages of preamplification. One stage, if you have an active bass, is the actual preamp on your bass. Another stage even before that, if you have active pickups, but those are more for to get less noise, and we were not touching that subject right now. A lot of us have preamps on our pedal boards these days. A lot of us have pedal boards these days. A lot of people ask questions: what comes before what? Why? What settings do you recommend? And the answer is a lot of times the same. It's use your ears, but not just use your ears. I want you to have a basic understanding of what you're doing to your signal, because sometimes you think a pedal sucks, or this bass sucks, but or this amp sucks, just because you're driving it in a way that wasn't designed for. So let's see what I'm talking about. I'm going to put a picture somewhere on the screen of my pedal board, the one that what I use these days, and you'll see it's kind of extensive, but for some people will be like ridiculous. For some people for some people it won't be enough, I guess. But it's a fairly simple pedal board. I'm running my bass into the La Bass preamp pedal, which a lot of us have a preamp pedal on their board, which gives me another gain stage, right? So let me this is how my bass sounds before I even hit the board. I've added a direct box before I even hit the board, and this is how my bass sounds like, with the only gain stage being the built-in preamp. I'm not boosting or cutting any frequencies, but I'm still running through the preamp. I'm in active mode. Right, I can add bass, or I can subtract it. I can add treble. But that's my first gain stage, my volume knob and the preamp. Now I'm running into the La Bass preamp, and basically I can gig without an amp because it has a direct out, so it's its own direct box, and I have it gives me another gain stage, a tube gain stage, which the more I drive it, hear the difference straight off the bat with the clean channel. Basically, I'm getting a little more harmonic content and, you know, the pillowy, a little bit of compression from it. So this is how my clean channel sounds like. This preamp also has a dirty channel, but when I switch between them, what I'm getting is not an additional gain stage. I'm replacing the clean channel gain stage with a dirty gain stage, with the one with, you know, more gain on it. So, alright, that's how it sounds like. So basically I can switch between them. Instead of stacking them, I can switch between them, and I'm keeping my signal from adding too much noise, because each gain stage adds noise. So I'm keeping my signal relatively low noise by not stacking them, although I have the option to do that, which we're going to get to in a minute. So basically that's two gain stages. So I can run them, you know, individually or in parallel to each other, which means that they're not stacking. They're, you know, I'm getting channel A and channel B as if I had two separate channels on a board, or two separate amps. One of them is driven and the other one is clean. Or I can stack them. This is what happens when I stack them. Now if I let go of my bass, there'll be a little noise, right? Because I'm adding gain. I'm stacking to have an additional gain stage that didn't have before. It means I get more compression, I get more harmonic content, I guess, because it's a tube stage. But my noise floor is now raised, because all the noise I had coming into channel A is amplified at channel A, then it's amplified again in channel B. So the more gain stages I have, the more I raise my noise floor. So when I let go of my bass, I'm getting noise. It is nice. It is a nice sound. Alright, it is a nice sound, but you have to take that under consideration. When you run pedals one into another, every time you do that, you add a gain stage. Every time you add frequencies, you add gain, you boost your signal. If you're running a compressor is, you know, our best friend, but it's the worst enemy of noise floor, because if you're running a noisy instrument, every instrument is noisy to some extent, but especially if you have like if you're running single coil Fender Jazz, I guess, which is notoriously has the hums at 60 hertz, the 60 cycle hum. You run just that into a compressor. It takes that hum and it compresses your loud notes. Then you're able to boost your whole signal up, and that hum boosts with the signal. So what you're getting is you're getting a compressed signal, so you're getting more headroom to pop, and you know, but your noise is much louder on average. Like your noise, let's say your peaks were at 0 dB, and your noise floor was at minus 20. Now you've boosted your whole signal by 3 dB. Your peaks are still at 0, but your noise floor is at 20 now, or 23. Every time you boost your signal, you also boost your noise. And when you compress your signal, you average out with the same noise and less loud notes. So you gotta take it under consideration. Now you're running that compressed signal with raised noise floor into overdrive pedal. You take that boosted noise and you're running it into another boost. This is why we have to be careful, and we have to listen to each stage of our preamplification, so we're able to control it and dial it in just right. So when our singer is doing his thank you very much, we're glad to be here, whatever, you don't hear that in the background just because you didn't set up your gain stages right. Hope this has been helpful. It's 10 minutes of a rant about gain staging, but I hope you guys are finding this helpful. Thank you very much. It's been Roy Haviv with 10 minutes about gain staging for bass players. Bye.